human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields now, endless fields. This time I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watch them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix?
Now, one of those scenes was from a recent social distancing concert that happened in real life. The other from a fictional movie about a dystopian future with technocratic robotic overlords. Can you tell which one is which? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Okadowski of WeAreChange.org. A lot of important issues to get into today, specifically all the latest lockdown news, as well as a very important rebuttal to the major moves that are happening on this platform with an overdrop of just how some of these people and companies are becoming incredibly rich and powerful, while the mainstream media literally cheers it on, or just talks about absolute nonsense that has nothing to do with real life. And because the mainstream media does such a horrible job, we still have ours. For now. Surprise, 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 we are also 100% demonetized, so we started working with companies that I personally like, that I personally trust. One of them is SafePreparedAndReady.com. They're a company now that I've been working with for over 5 years. I personally like this company for camping food. A lot of it is very easy to make. If you're looking for survival food, you could always get a big bag of rice and beans. If you're looking for some options and for things that taste really well, that also has a 25-year shelf life. Check out SafePreparedAndReady.com. I like them, I personally use them, and I think you will too. Your support of them also goes towards supporting us. Now, I think it's fair to say that there's been a lot of changes in 2020 that take a little bit to get accustomed to. And with all of this happening, there definitely have been some troubling developments with governments becoming very powerful throughout these turbulent times. And there's a lot of worrying aspects that are unfolding in major cities all across the United States, specifically New York City, where we have new video that allegedly shows a New York City government agent spying on a religious Jewish center and trying to take photos through their windows to catch people praying. Again, this is video allegedly coming out of New York City. It has not been independently verified, specifically talking about this video here, but there have been a lot of people coming forward saying that this is happening. And for government agents to act like peeping Toms while going house to house, making sure people aren't praying together? I'm sorry, that's absolutely egregious to say the least, especially after we had an administration in New York City that politically supported mass gatherings when it worked in their favor, when it pushed a narrative that they liked, but now crush another one when they don't like it, and it criticizes them. Specifically, what I'm comparing here is, of course, the treatment between Black Lives Matter and, of course, the Orthodox Hasidic Jewish community in Brooklyn that is getting fined extensively for violating these arbitrary rules that were put in place in New York City. Rules where in some places people could be fined $1,000 for not wearing a mask inside of their own homes if there is a certain quantity of individuals inside of that house. These rules, I mean, they're not really rules. These decrees by government are very particular, but they are also selectively enforced. Specifically, again, it should be mind-boggling for everyone that a government that literally cheers on protests in the tens of thousands, rallies for them, creates their own public gathering for them, is now trying to act like they're trying to prevent mass gatherings by fining business owners who are just trying to make ends meet. So far, the New York City government has been able to extort $150,000 dollars in fines from average Americans who were doing actions that a couple months ago were just seen as common day. Now they're being enforced to the fullest extent of the law from a hypocritical, power-hungry institution that literally creates rules that are bewildering, like the one that you're seeing on screen in the United Kingdom. And I'm sorry, but personally seeing the government at its best at the DMV doesn't give me any kind of faith to make me understand that they could regulate my personal life. And when they do, it tragically is comedic, if not just absolutely sad and pathetic. In the United Kingdom, we're seeing similar measures being placed, where of course a lot of these new rules have people literally at each other's throats, where there is even a law in the United Kingdom where bar owners or pub owners have to stop people from singing and dancing inside of a pub. Good luck doing that with drunk people, buddy. But if you don't, the government will, of course, shut you down and make sure that you can't make ends meet, that you won't be able to survive, that you won't be able to pay your rent by fining you and taking away, essentially stealing your money. A lot of this is also being enforced through the latest technology, specifically also in New York City, where people are tracked through their cell phones, and if they get caught coming from one of the states that the government deemed bad, they literally notify you that you either have to get a test, you have to quarantine, you have to isolate, without you even meeting or speaking or talking to anyone. Virtually, you were checked in through your cell phone data that the New York City government already uses. And to make the situation worse, we are getting information that more technocratic companies will be a part of the track, tracing, and database system when it comes specifically to make sure that the government's policy is enforced. So yeah, nothing could definitely go wrong with technocratic billionaire multinational corporations enforcing that. I think it's even going to be a greater idea to give these small number of unaccountable people more power, including the power to what people can and cannot listen to or hear. And I think it's fair to say that we have already sort of experienced that within the last 24 hours, where a large number of content creators have been disappeared, multiple news stories have been censored, accounts who spoke out about it have been restricted, locked down, or even deleted in some instances, as even a congressional government website link was blocked from being shared on one of these big tech monopoly companies' websites. And now we're finally getting some answers to what's actually happening here, specifically with Jack Dorsey and his comments, which we're going to get to in a little bit, but also specifically from Susan Wojcicki, the head of YouTube, that came on CNN and said that she wants to fight dangerous fake news and conspiracy theories that are, quote, dangerous and propel voices that are more truthful. And if that's really the case, Susan, you gotta get rid of the mainstream media, especially after all the incredible amount of lies that they told, especially after all just the blatant manipulation that we've been seeing from news outlets that cater to a specific party ideology or a special interest rather than the truth, the weapons of mass destruction, the banker bailouts. I mean, I could keep going on and on of instances where the mainstream media just lied through their teeth for the benefit of a small group of people and not everyone else. They lied and have been on record caught doing so with their pants down. But obviously, that's not what has happened, and a lot of independent creators have had their livelihoods destroyed and their channels fully taken down. By the way, this is all happening in the midst of one of the biggest mainstream media journalists out there who was supposed to host a presidential debate being caught lying. We have to understand, journalism once meant something. It's something that enthralled me. It's something that excited me. It's something that made me want to investigate stuff, research stuff, find stuff out, and share it with the general public for the greater good. This is why I got into journalism. But now we have to understand, especially when it comes to mainstream media, quote, journalism, it's not journalism. There's no science, there's no discovery, there's no learning, there's just pushing of you onto you. And there's very powerful special interests that are involved in making sure you think a certain way because it benefits them that you do. And if Susan wants to hold people accountable for caring about the truth and sharing information that is correct, and she wants to hold people accountable for that, sure. Yeah, there's a lot of charlatans out there. There's a lot of liars out there. Sure, I 100% agree with you. But if you're going to micromanage someone, it shouldn't be small mom and pop mom-and-pop creators. It should be the national media that has been caught lying a lot. Their lies actually impact things. They actually matter. And if you're going to hold anyone accountable, it should be them, not small independent creators. But of course, we have to understand that these are all just words that are a ways to an end, just like many people see journalism. The suppression that we are seeing on specific stories should tell you everything you need to know about the current situation and what's really going on here, because obviously a nation is as free as is its speech. And when speech is limited, it's curtailed, it's censored. There's billionaires standing in the way, allegedly thinking what's good for you and demonstrating it by destroying our sacred right. We have to understand that that is an utterly inept, horrible road to go on that will lead to more human suffering. Since again, the answer to bad speech is more speech. Censorship, essentially, is just a tool of a tyrant. And that's why I keep telling everyone here to sign up on our email list. It's seriously more important than ever, because just even daring to ascertain and to question some of this and to even talk about it puts us at risk of being utterly eviscerated. And that's just absolutely insane. I'm not going to be living my life where I'm having to censor myself or be afraid about talking about a particular issue, and I never will. But this is a two-way street, and it really does take your involvement, specifically with signing up on that email list, to make sure that we could still exist. That link, of course, is in the description below, where, of course, you could sign up right away. Put your email in there, sign up to the confirmation email, click that it's not spam, and boom, be a part of the solution. It was also very interesting to see the CEO of Twitter actually admit to his wrongdoing, blatantly coming out and saying that his censorship was wrong, and he should be commended for that, to be honest with you. His exact words were, quote, "straight blocking of URLs was wrong." He did say that he has updated Twitter's policies and enforcement, and hey, at least he admitted it, and I think he made a fair point. But we also have to understand this is all on the backdrop of massive pushback from individuals saying enough is enough. And that's why your voice is more important than ever, but also your eyes and ears are, because what you click on, what you pay attention to, what you listen actually matters. They wouldn't be going out of their way to suppress information if they didn't think it was powerful, if they didn't think it would offer actual substantial change. And it really does seem like they definitely overstepped here. And hey, while we got it, I think it's more important than ever to participate in this discussion, to raise your voice, and to most importantly, vote with your clicks and your attention. What you click on matters, not just for a manipulative algorithm, because it is clear as present day that there is a force out there that is deathly afraid of us talking to each other and finding out the truth. Now, we definitely have to do this sooner than later, especially with most people's ability to even survive or sustain themselves is slowly being eviscerated by similar tech giants that are becoming richer and richer by the day as everyone else becomes poorer. The technocrats, some of the same individuals that literally want the power to decide what you can hear and listen to and see, are literally becoming super rich. Some in the mainstream media have totally acquiesced to them in full, figuratively bowing down and bending over through articles like this in the New York Times that are headlined, "America's Tech Billionaires Could Help Protect the Election." Oh, some of these individuals are connected to Jeffrey Epstein? Yes, of course. Nothing could go wrong with this at all. Seriously, we are living in extraordinary times. It's more time than ever to get involved and participate, because you guys do. I'm still here. Seriously, sharing this video, getting it out there to your friends and family members, signing up on that email list, and making sure. Sometimes you're even going to have to go to your promotions and click not a promotion. You're going to have to go into your spam and click not spam. That also helps us out tremendously. There's always some kind of way that they always try to get you. Yeah, sporadically, check your spam boxes, because you'll be surprised what you see in there. I have been lately as well, but that's beyond the point. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.